Hello everyone, this is Erik Bryant back with part 2 of the first episode of the Erik Bryant Show. Here to wrap things up about the wrestling news. I'm also going to talk a little bit about baseball, basketball, a little football in this first episode. Get on with the wrestling news. Being an old school fan, I can't call this guy Double A like some people call Austin Aries, so I'll just call him A-Double. A-Double Austin Aries signs a long-term deal with TNA, which doesn't really have a comment about that except for it's a smart business decision by Dixie Carter, because he is one of the best pure wrestlers they have, in my opinion. Raw, just kind of a note, not really, well, it is kind of news, but just a note. Raw plans to do a pre-show on YouTube on their WWE Fan Nation website at 7:30 before the 1000th episode of Raw. So for those of you watching this that didn't know that, you can tune in on YouTube, the WWE's YouTube channel at 7:30, watch a pre-show before you watch the 3-hour 1000th episode of Raw. Triple H reportedly in boardroom meetings was talking about having longer title reigns for the WWE and the World Champions to give more relevance back to the titles. So they're saying that CM Punk and Sheamus could continue their runs for a few more months before they lose the belt, which means Dolph Ziggler may not cash that Money in the Bank until late this year or early next year. And there's some speculations with saying that Punk holding the belt a little longer, which would mean that John Cena would actually be the first person to cash in the Money in the Bank contract and lose. And right now they're kind of leaning toward that way from reports, but that's one of those things that I believe it when I see it, and probably still won't believe it if I do see it, because I don't see their poster boy John Cena being the first one to go down after cashing in a Money in the Bank briefcase. But we'll find out. It's going to be one of the many things to watch on the 1000th episode of Raw to see what happens. Let's see. Also, right now, the top 4 bouts for SummerSlam, one of the pay-per-views that has been signatured as one of the top 4 pay-per-views of the company. Of course, that and being the Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, those 4 are the originals. The top 4 bouts right now looking to be Triple H and Brock Lesnar, CM Punk versus John Cena for the WWE title, a triple threat match for the world title pitting Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, and Dolph Ziggler, and a possible one-on-one contest between Daniel Bryan and Chris Jericho. If those 4 matches are on the card, you add 2, 3, maybe 4 more. Could be a solid SummerSlam card. Those matches aren't that bad, but if you're hoping to see a world title or a WWE title match as the main event this month, you'll probably be out of luck again, because the rumors are saying that the main event for SummerSlam is going to be Triple H and Brock Lesnar, which is not a real surprise to me. And the final news I have for wrestling today is, I don't know if some of you might have heard, but the Ultimate Warrior being accused of a $28,000 merchandise fraud. What happened was that that a collector supposedly sent the Ultimate Warrior some posters to sign, pictures and things of that nature, and the Ultimate Warrior was going to sign some pieces from his collection and send them to the man, including a pair of trunks that were actually worn by the Ultimate Warrior in the ring. I hope he washed them first. Just a little side note, but it appears that the man sent the $28,000 check and then did not receive any of the merchandise, did not receive any of the posters back that he was going to have signed and returned to him. And when he tried to contact the Ultimate Warrior by phone, by email, and everything, Ultimate Warrior went AWOL and was a no-show. Well, according to some rumors, the man might want to turn on the television, because there are actually some rumors that the Ultimate Warrior might actually appear on the 1000th episode of Raw on Monday. I'm hoping those are just rumors, because if I never see the Ultimate Warrior again, it'll be too soon. That's a topic for another day, though. I'm not a big Ultimate Warrior fan and never have been. I've always seen the Ultimate Warrior as being, not a bit, but a lot, overrated. But that is my talk tonight for wrestling. I'm going to move on and talk a little bit about baseball, basketball, and football quickly in the last few minutes I have. Basketball, just some signings. Jeremy Lin is now back with the Houston Rockets, signed a 3-year deal, $24 million contract. The the New York Knicks did not match the signing sheet. Carmelo Anthony was quoted the other day as saying that he doesn't blame the Knicks for not matching that ridiculous contract that the Rockets have given Jeremy Lin. And I love Carmelo Anthony. He's one of my favorite players in the league, but a lot of people, Carmelo would say a ridiculous contract would be for someone making $18 million a year that can't lead his team out of the first round of the playoffs for most of the years in his career. $18 million for a guy who gets put out in the first round or doesn't make the playoffs at all, that would look to some to be ridiculous. I'm just saying, Melo. You might want to step up a little bit before you start talking trash about other players. Maybe Jeremy Lin doesn't pan out. Maybe he does become a bust. But for the next 3 years, he's going to be making $8 million a year, so you can't fault him for leaving the Knicks like Stephen A. Smith has done. And again, I say this, first time I said it on YouTube, but I said it to him actually a lot on Twitter. I don't know how that guy has a job, because in my opinion, he's a stone idiot. But also basketball, the Boston Celtics looking to trade Jawan Johnson, Etan Moore, and Sean Williams. Also a second-round draft pick to the Houston Rockets to get Courtney Lee, a shooting guard. Courtney Lee would probably be in the starting lineup until Avery Bradley comes back. He'll probably miss at least the beginning of the 2012-2013 season, and that'll help, that'll enable Jason Terry to come off the bench and play his six-man role that he has played for most of his whole career in the NBA. Also, by trading those 4 players, the Celtics open up a little bit of cap room, about $5 million to play around, maybe signing another free agent bench player or something like that. So they free up a little room and get a shooting guard in Courtney Lee in the process. The Chicago Bulls have signed Atlanta Hawks bench player Vladimir Radmanovich to a deal. O.J. Mayo has gone to the Dallas Mavericks. That'll help Dallas, another shooter, another playmaker on the floor with O.J. Mayo. And that's pretty much it on the basketball front. I'll be talking much more basketball though in the upcoming days, especially when Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic finally make a decision on what's going to happen. But I'm pretty sure Howard will be a Los Angeles Laker within the next couple days. Talking about baseball quickly, the Los Angeles Dodgers are trying to secure Chicago Cubs pitcher Ryan Dempster. And again, I'll be talking about baseball a lot more in the upcoming days as the trade deadline gets closer. But the Cubs, Theo Epstein, said the one major thing they want to do when trading players at this trade deadline is get young pitching prospects, young talent. And the Dodgers' top pitching talent is a guy named Zach Lee. Not sure if he would be in the deal for Ryan Dempster or not, but I'm pretty sure the Cubs are pushing for him to be in it. And if he's not, then the deal might not be made. Don't know much about that. He'll have to update on that one. The other piece of baseball news, not a whole lot of baseball news for me tonight, but sure baseball fans have heard this in the last couple of weeks. The Nationals general manager continuing to say that it will be his decision and his alone on whether they sit Steven Strasburg once he gets to his set number of innings that they want him to throw. Now, statistically, if he throws the number of innings that the GM wants him to throw, then the beginning of September would be the date that Strasburg would sit. Now, if the Nationals have a 6 or 7 game lead in the division, I say go ahead and sit them, because I think they got enough pitching to last for that last month to make it into the playoffs, win the division, if not win the division, make it into a wild card spot. But if he is talking about sitting him for September and then the entire playoff run, that is completely stupid, because the Nationals don't even make it to the playoffs without Strasburg, and they definitely, certainly don't do anything in the playoffs if Strasburg does not play. And that would really upset National fans, I'm pretty sure, seeing them get to finally become a good ball club, good young players, Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez, Tyler Moore, Ian Desmond, get to a playoff spot and then falter because you want to sit your best pitcher due to trying to save his arm for the future. Fans just don't buy into that, and they don't like things like that, and they won't if Strasburg sits, especially for a playoff run, which would be completely stupid in my opinion. And quickly, 2 other things before I go. In football, the Indianapolis Colts have signed their #1 draft pick, Andrew Luck, to a 4-year, $22.1 million deal, $14.5 million bonus. Sign him just in time for training camp.